there's this SNL skit where Jimmy Fallon plays you, and you're walking into the Oval Office looking cool, wearing shades and a bulletproof vest to the song "Unbelievable" by EMF. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's pretty epic. And then Trump says that you've traveled the world representing the administration, but no one has ever heard you speak. So there's a lot of questions I can ask about that clip. But one of them is, can you introspect why you choose this low-key approach of kind of operating behind the scenes and not speaking much to the public, at least at the time? You've spoken a little bit more. And today you've spoken for a really long time, which I deeply appreciate.
No, it's been a pleasure to do this, and thank you for the opportunity to talk about these things. And so that was a really funny skit. And it's funny. The thing I got made fun of the most for that was the wardrobe, and that came from after 3 months in the administration, we were having dinner with all the generals, and they were saying, updating us on the war with ISIS. And General Dumford said to me after, "Look, the president can't come to see how we're fighting this war, but I'd like to invite you to come with me to Iraq and come see. And would you come with me?" I said, "You know what? That's great. I always learned in business, you can't make decisions from just an ivory tower. You have to go to the front lines and see what's actually happening." So I said, "No problem. I'd love to go." Meanwhile, 2 days before I'm about to go, the doc from the White House stops by my office and says, "We need to get your blood type." So, "What do you mean my blood type is?" "You're going to an active war zone." I'm like, "Okay, so I guess I'll go to a war zone." I didn't really think this thing fully through. So I get on the plane with Dumford, and we land in Iraq. And he looks like G.I. Joe. He's a great general. He's very, very well respected in the military. And we go in and we get on Black Hawk helicopter. They said, "Today's a nice day. Let's take the sides off." And so I get on the plane, and there's a guy, military service officer, who then takes a machine gun, locks it into a thing, takes the bullets, puts them into the gun, and is sitting there saying, "We're ready to go." And then I'm looking out, and there's like 3 other helicopters with guys. One was an Osprey with a guy buckled in, also with a machine gun looking out. We take off, and we're flying over Baghdad from the airport to the embassy. And as we're going, I'm sitting in an open air helicopter with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, guys with machine guns everywhere. And
this is a new experience for you. You haven't experienced
I would say
this previously.
slightly. I mean, I was doing real estate like 3 months ago, and now I'm flying over Iraq, and the chairman says, "That's Saddam Hussein's palace." And I look down, there's like a big bomb right through the middle. And then you see the area with the 2 swords in the hands. I'm saying to myself, like, how the hell did I get here? Like, what is happening? So meanwhile, we end up going to the front lines to be with the service, the Iraqi military, which the U.S. military is working closely with. And I had a meeting that night with the president of Iraq. And so I wore, what do you wear to the front lines in a battle zone? And also meet the president. So I put a sports jacket on. We land at the front line, and they give me a bulletproof vest that says Kushner on it. I tape it. I put it on. I go out, and I cover the NER, so it just said Kush. And I went, and I didn't realize they were taking pictures. And so,
I think the picture looks pretty epic. You with sunglasses. I love it.
So anyway, so that was the funny story behind that. And then actually, my brother was at some society event in New York, and he ran into Jimmy Fallon. So the two of them took a selfie together, and Josh writes me, says, "Hanging out with my older brother in New York." I'm trying to explain to him what your voice sounds like. So it was good. So that was a funny one. But I think just being behind the scenes for me just gave me more maneuverability, in the sense that, again, it goes back to trust and people knowing that I wasn't going to try to publicize the things they were telling me. I think it just gave me more ability to operate that way. And I also realized too, like, communicating is a very important skill. Luckily in Washington, there's no shortage of amazing communicators. I think there were a lot of people who were much better at me than being communicators. So I was very happy that they were willing to do it, because it wasn't something that I had a lot of experience with, or necessarily I thought I was very good at. And so I kind of just did my job and just focused on getting things done.